This is my most played game on Steam, by a long shot. I'm not kidding. American Truck Simulator may be a complete meme in the eyes of some, but it's genuinely one of the most entertaining and addicting games of all time for me. I know the game does not fit the typical scope of this channel at all. It's not retro and there's no physical version of it. However, I need to find some way to talk about it. I'm not sure what it is, but usually around the holidays I tend to fire this one up. Perhaps it has to do with the way DLC works in this game. You start off only being able to navigate in Arizona, Nevada, and California, which is certainly not a bad start. All three states are giant, and when I first bought the game I was actually living in Tucson, Arizona. So I set up my initial headquarters there. However, if you want to expand the game, you have to buy them state by state. That might sound like a lot and perhaps even a bit ridiculous. I can agree with the argument that if you're buying everything at full price, then it is a little bit insane, but Steam sales are of course a thing. For example, this year I finally caved and got the massive DLC for Texas. This pack normally retails for a whopping $18, which is certainly more than I'd want to pay for it. But I caught it on sale this year for half off, which was just $9 then. As potentially the biggest expansion to a game that I have invested over 100 hours into, I can fully justify that $9. The model of releasing expansions state by state keeps things fresh over time as well. Again, I've played this game for years. When I first got it, Montana and Texas were the two newest releases, and so many more states have come out since then. However, I have seen some valid criticism of this release schedule as well. It's way too long, mainly. Look at how many states are left, and how long this game has been out for already. It's like a 10-year-old game. Thankfully, you can see in 2025 we did have more than just 2 states. You'd then hope that all of New England could be released in just one swoop, along with much of the Mid-Atlantic, and perhaps they could group together some more of the Southeast in time as well. Either way, I don't really have a problem with it because my fixation on this game comes and goes. I'll go several months or even a year without playing it, then some DLC will go on sale, it'll catch my eye, and then I'm right back in it. If that cycle continues for another 10 years, then I don't really have a problem with it, but I understand how it's frustrating for others. Some of the DLC packs I have caved and bought right at release. I remember buying Kansas shortly after it came out, and very recently Louisiana was released, and I did snag that for the full price. That's an exciting state. I've had one trip to New Orleans in the past during a long road trip, and I absolutely loved it out there. Also, Louisiana geographically is very different from places like Arizona or Nevada, so it really does feel like the game has evolved to this point. So yeah, originally I am from the East Coast, but I do live in Arizona now, and with that I have done 3 cross-country road trips myself, which is a huge factor as to why I'm so into American Truck Simulator over something like Euro Truck Simulator. I'm sure Euro Truck is a fine and interesting game, but I cannot be anywhere and go, oh yeah, I've been there, let's see how accurate it actually is to the real thing. Driving past the skyline in New Orleans, I can literally go, oh yep, that building is definitely there in real life, and here's a photo of it that I have on my phone. I can then do that with many other cities to various extents throughout the entire country. In total, I've been to 30 states. The time I've spent in them, though, is wildly different, but even if I've only ever driven through a city like Tulsa, Oklahoma, I can still relate to memories of at least going past the skyline. There's other DLC in the game as well, skins, cargo packs, and other fun little trinkets for the game. The extra cargo packs give you more missions and such to complete, which adds more variety to the game. For example, the heavy cargo pack allows us to haul some oversized loads across the entire country, thus putting our truck to the test. Even with a truck configured for these big loads, you'd still be crawling up some of the steep grades in the mountainous regions of Utah.
Come on, old blue! Don't you talk back to me! Do as you're told! Do it! Do it! Do it! Come on now, do it!
And of course, I did snag the Christmas skin since this is Merry Truckmas. Funny enough, that skin was actually left on my truck from the last time I got fixated on this game, so I'm guessing that was almost exactly a year. Either way, it's great to have Santa barreling down I-40 through Oklahoma with your delivery of nuts. You also are of no obligation to actually follow the rules of the road. Now, hold on though. Just a brief disclaimer. When it comes to real life, I'm a huge advocate for road safety and all that, but here we're being anything but safe because this is Fantasyland despite it looking like the actual country. You can get fines for things like speeding or running red lights. However, once you get far enough into the game, the fines become extremely minimal compared to the money that you make from completing a job. So to hell with the lights, just blast through them, even if it means going in the opposing lane sometimes. Speeding? Yeah, not much of a problem either. It's a heftier fee when you're going fast enough, but even the $5,000 for going 30 over is a drop in the bucket eventually. Another little trick I've discovered is that you can seemingly deter the speeding fee by triggering a measly $900 collision fee by just running the police cars over instead. Just make sure you don't damage your cargo, of course, that will impact your delivery. All those fees will quickly be made up by the success of your employees, and then you can focus on your own big jobs. Again, don't ever do any of that in real life, but part of what makes the game so great is cracking myself up over being a complete menace on the road. So yeah, as I mentioned, you do have employees with you as well. The game is more than just driving around. Sure, that's fun in the beginning, but what really keeps things lively in the long run is building your own trucking business. You have the option to purchase garages, more trucks, trailers, and most importantly, to hire additional staff. Here your other drivers will take jobs and make you additional income. The end game for me is when I can just freely explore and not ever have to take delivery jobs myself. I'd probably say that would be around the 10 garage mark for me, but who knows, I'll probably keep going. Currently I'm working out of Tucson, Coeur d'Alene, Wichita, Laredo, San Francisco, and very recently New Orleans. You can take out loans to finance your big garage and truck purchases, but of course they do need to be paid back. Ultimately then, yes, the end goal is essentially to just retire and drive around and sightsee. What's cool about it though is that the game never forces you to do anything. You don't have to hire anyone. You can be a solo truck driver your entire time and just go as you please. There are a number of things in the game that I have never touched, despite over 120 hours of playtime. You make your own experiences here to a certain extent. I'm normally not too crazy about games with so much free reign, but here it's just enough balance between structure and freedom. If I had to issue, though, one complaint about the game, it's sometimes that it's very difficult to find the exact spot that the game is allowing you to park and sleep. Most actions in the game are done by finding these little green areas on the ground, and it's very clear and obvious where you're supposed to go to trigger things like viewpoints. Sleeping, though, is done just in designated truck parking spots at gas stations. Sometimes you'll find yourself inching across the parking lot trying to get to that sweet spot where the game thinks you're sufficiently parked to take a nap. Maybe it has to do with the trailer itself, since this was seemingly happening more to me when I have oversized loads. Still, I'm clearly in the spot here, but the game refuses to let me sleep for whatever reason. Also, does this game have any music? No, but there is a radio feature where you can put MP3 files into your game folder and play them through the radio, which is pretty cool. Does the game have a physical version that we can talk about cost and preservation and all that good stuff? No. Again, it's not the typical game that I would feature on this channel. However, it's still important to my life, and that's why I'm doing a video on it here, because I can do whatever I want. It's my channel. All I can really hope for is that the game will continue to receive the support it has, and that the remaining states will come out, and hopefully a little more quickly than in 10 years. That's the one thing that you really worry about, is the company potentially running out of money and giving up on the project when they still have basically half the country left to do. So yeah, in terms of the 3 pillars of preservation that I had introduced in my last video, the game has no physical media. So, I mean, there's kind of not really any purpose of even discussing that pillar. The base game, though, is at least very accessible, and there is a fairly dedicated fan base that will keep the game in discussions. Circling back to that accessibility point, though, it's the base game that's really easy to get. You can pick that up for usually around $5 on Steam sales. It goes on sale very, very often. However, it's gaining the ability to drive in every state that is fairly costly, and accessing the entire game is not easy. I don't even have every state that's available yet. I'm like 4 states behind because, again, I don't buy them all right when they come out, and I'm not on top of this game at every moment of every day. But as Steam sales run through their cycles, though, in time, I'm sure I'll get caught up eventually. But, you know, that's a lot of dedication to have full access to this game, which is a little bit problematic, perhaps. I am very happy, though, with what I have right now in the game. So, anyways, that's enough rambling about a game where you drive a truck around all day. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed watching me talk about something a little different this time, be sure to like the video. Also, for small channels like mine, YouTube now has a hype feature, I believe they call it, where you can boost the video in the algorithm to make it think that it's like a video from a better channel or a bigger channel at least. So be sure to hype it up so that more people can watch and see the true glory of American Truck Simulator. So with that, thanks for watching.